Okay, Mickie.
Hi, how are
I
you,
feel like
Karen?
we I feel like we've been to this rodeo before, me and you.
Yes, we have.
We have. Okay. So can you tell me who your angel is and tell me about your angel?
Okay, my angel is Alexander Frank, but we called him Alex, and we always had to. He got very upset when people didn't spell his name right. Um, he the, my first memory from Alex. Okay, I had to have C-sections because I had total hip replacement. Anyway, so when you're having a C-section, you're draped, but I was awake, but I was draped, so I couldn't see what was happening. And when he was being born, all of a sudden, the doctors are all talking, about whatever. And one of the doctors says, "Hey, let go." And I said, "Who are you talking to?" And he said, "The baby." When they did when they did the second cut and cut through my uterus, his hand popped out and he grabbed the hemostats. So, right from the beginning, he just had this zest for life. He couldn't wait to participate in life. Um, the thing that I noticed when I was sitting and listening to everybody talk about their angels is it is so amazing how so many of our angels have so many of the same attributes, and they were just they were all just such wonderful people, and so many of the things that people were saying, I'm thinking, Alex did that too. Alex was like that too, and it's just, yeah, I think that they were just all too soft for this world. I know my son was. He was very funny. Starting with the hemostats, he was a very happy baby, always laughing, always joking. When we watched all the Disney movies together, because he has three sisters, so there were four of them. And he would always, the Lion King, he was Simba and I was Zazu, and his sisters were, no matter what it was that we watched, whether it was Winnie the Pooh or the Lion King or whoever, like he assigned everybody had to everybody had to be somebody, so we all like kind of participated in these movies that we watched. Um, he was really smart. Um, all through school, his teachers would say to me when I would go to the parent teacher night, they would say, Alex is brilliant. They would say he asks questions that they didn't know the answers to. They had to look things up. He was always so curious. He wasn't athletic, but he did try. You name a sport, he tried it, but like I always remember like when he was playing like t-ball or baseball, and here, everybody's like watching the game, and here's Alex looking at the flower and looking at this bug over here. My husband called him the scientist. um, he made friends with everyone that he met. In Wawa they called him the mayor. um, and he was very kind, and he too, if anybody was being picked on, he would, go and stick up for them. um, he loved music. He wanted drums. We got him drums, and he didn't like the drums so much, so then he wanted a guitar. We got him a guitar. He was in a band. He was the lead singer, and so he was the one who talked. He loved to be front and center on that stage. um, in high school, the high school that he went to the Marine Academy of Science and Technology, and he loved the water. But they did a talent show every year, and he was always the MC. Like he was just, he was just so up and always smiling and always happy and always wanting everybody to participate and everybody to have fun and everybody to have a good time and feel loved. Um, he turned me on to some of his music, like rap music. I never liked rap, but I love Eminem. Um, let's see, uh, and him too. Him and I spent a lot of time together. He was my person, and I believe that I was his person, and he was my protector. And out of all my kids, he was always the one who, because I had to stop driving 15 years ago, he was the one who would take me. He would always say, Mom, I'm going to the store. Do you need anything? Do you need me to take you anywhere? And God, I miss him so much. But we spent a lot of time together from the time he was a little boy until he died, I'm his last text on his phone, and he's my last text. And he like we would go into the city a lot together because we both have we had to go to the hospital for special surgery because we both had issues. And he would be like right on top of me, with his arm on me, and I'm like, Alex, you can't push me. Because when you're blind, people can't push you because it's not good. And I would, say, let me hold on to you. But he always wanted to have his arm around me. If anybody looked at me crooked because I had the cane, he was like, that's my mama, and he loved to read. Besides his music, he loved to read. He read everything from comic books to Shakespeare. He loved Shakespeare. And he liked video games. Him and I played a lot of video games together. And he loved animals. He loved children. He saved the cat a couple of times. One time we found a wounded squirrel, and we researched, and we found somebody who will come and save us a wounded squirrel. He was just so tenderhearted and so loving. And I just really, really miss my son, Alex. He was just, he was my shining star, and it sounds like all of our angels were our shining stars. So thank you for letting me share him.
Of course, I love hearing the stories. I feel like I know Alex more in depth now from hearing that and hearing about him and how protective he was of his beautiful mom. Now, you also have joined us since we've been on Zoom. I know you came out one time. I wasn't there that night to actually meet you, but how has the Beating Hearts helped you on your journey, and how has it been through Zoom? And how is it, because I know you're part of some other groups on the Beating Hearts, some of the subgroups, if you could tell us about that too.
Okay, well, first of all, Alex found the Beating Hearts for me. He brought me here because there's no other explanation for how I found you guys. I had some friends who have friends who've lost children, and they gave me, the names of some other groups, but wasn't the Beating Hearts. I wasn't on Facebook. I don't know how I found you guys. And so my first meeting, so Alex died on April 14th of 2020. And my first meeting on the Beating Hearts on Zoom was on Mother's Day. I came to the Mother's Day breakfast, and I've been here. I don't think I might have missed 1 week, but I'm not sure. And I'm on the Found group, and just being in small groups, even, okay, so the Found group, we all are people who found our children, and that has its own horror show component to it, but even on the Beating Hearts, just when we even go into our small groups on every Wednesday, it's so nice because, you get to know people, on such a more intimate level, but the Beating Hearts, above all of the groups that I've tried for a little bit, whether it was in person around here or not on Zoom, but even just on Facebook, the Beating Hearts is the best one for me. And that's why Alex brought me here, because you guys are all so positive, and you give me hope. You give me hope for my future, that someday I will find joy again. Every once in a while I do find little pieces of joy. And I attribute that to being with all of you positive ladies and all of the wonderful things that we do, with Roseanne, with her, leading us in meditations, and, when we do angel cards. And then also, helping others. And I think all of the stuff that you guys do is just awesome. And I am on the beading committee, and I absolutely love making beads for people. So, you know, I feel, and even though, you know, I only met a few people the night that I came into Long Island, and Linda wasn't even there. It was at her house. She wasn't even there. But
I don't think we've met yet, Mickie.
no, we haven't.
We haven't even met yet. How is that possible? I just
I
dawned
don't
on me.
know.
I've never.
I don't know. But I'm definitely coming out. You know, there's no, I'm scared. I finally got scheduled to get my vaccine. So once I'm vaccinated, I'll be coming out, like at least once a month. That's going to be that's my plan, to come out at least once a month, and, you know, get some of those big hugs, because I'm a big hugger too.
Mickie, since we've started doing these interviews, Family Service League has agreed to do a new group. And I believe that you show a lot of interest in this group. Can you talk about that?
Moms in Recovery, Angel Moms in Recovery. Okay, wait, I have to, my mouth is dry. I'm so like nervous. Sorry. Yeah, so, you know, I'm in recovery myself, and I know that there's a few other ladies in the Beating Hearts that are in recovery, and I believe that being in recovery myself added an extra layer to this onion of coulda, shoulda, woulda, you know, like, I should have known, I should have seen it, I should have been able to fix it. And I know that everybody feels that way. You know, we all think that there's something, you know, that guilt that we all think, but I think it's a little bit deeper when you're in recovery, because, you know, like I used to say before, you know, before my kids ever like started, you know, messing around, how kids do, you know, with weed and alcohol, like, you know, when they were young, I always said, my kids are never going to get away with anything, because I'm going to know immediately, because, you know, I did it all myself. And there was so much that went on that I was totally blinded to. So, yeah, I didn't know as much as I thought. So, you know, I am going to appreciate being in a group with other recovering mothers, because also, you know, statistically, losing a child is one of the biggest reasons, and not even a reason, it's an excuse. One of the biggest excuses that alcoholics, addicts can use to go back out, you know? So, you know, I feel that I need the support of other angel moms in recovery, because I can't talk about this in AA, you know, or NA. So, you know, it's a place that I can talk about that piece of trying to stay in recovery. And
how
I'm
do
so
you feel
grateful.
that it'll be peer, you know, we're peer run, and how do you feel that this will be professionally supported?
I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome, because, you know, when we're just peer run, especially for small, we can just kind of go off in tangents and, you know, maybe not have focus, you know, and you know, who's, you know, who's leading things, you know, not necessarily who's in charge, but who's, you know, who's guiding us. So to have a professional, to have somebody who's guiding us and can, you know, keep us focused and give us ideas for what we can talk about, I think it's awesome. And I think it's going to be great. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm so grateful to look up for Adam that we're going to be able to do that. And you, Linda, of course.
Oh, Mickie. Okay, so on March 12th, on National Lookup Day, what do you want us to know, and who will you be looking up for?
Okay, well, of course, I will be looking up for my special angel, Alex. I'm going to be looking up for all of our Beating Hearts angels, because they're going to be all together anyway. So we'll be looking up for them they'll be all together anyway. But I'm also going to look up for a few other special people in my life. Mickie, who was my dear friend, she passed away, and then her son 2 years later, he couldn't live without his mother, and he overdosed and he died, and he was only 23, 22, 23. My brother, who died from this disease, and somebody who was one of my dearest friends 30 years ago who died from an overdose. So I'm going to be looking up, especially for them, just like a special mention, but I'm going to be looking up for all of our angels.
Thank you, Mickie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen.